What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Save Point Podcast, Episode 7. I am one of your co-hosts, Alex, and I am joined, as always, with Sway, and we are here to talk about the upcoming week. Now, we're in a little fuzzy area. We're recording this. We'll just be kind of transparent. We're recording this on a Tuesday. Obviously, you guys will see it Saturday. I mean, we'll be head deep in whether it be Persona or Fire Emblem. We'll be playing some new things, which is exciting, thinking about the future from the past. But also next week, we have Forspoken, Dead Space, even SpongeBob. We kind of want to talk. We briefly actually did it at the end of the last episode. We started talking about Forspoken. So let's just kind of go after it, talk a little bit about what we expect to see of these games, maybe even do some review score predictions. But of course, as always, we have to talk about what we were up to over the last week. So Sway, how are you? Take it away, and what have you been doing?
Doing pretty good. I've actually been bouncing back and forth between Gundam SD. There's like a Gundam game, so I've tried that out. I've been playing that with a few friends, and actually replaying Devil May Cry because I've been into a Devil May Cry kick lately.
Nice.
And I've even decided that this mobile game that they're coming out with that they've been working on for a while.
Yeah.
Probably gonna play it. That's how much I miss it. So that's where I am. What about you though? How have you been doing? What you been playing?
Doing well. I continue to get bored, like we talked about last week. Like I'm really ready. I played a lot. I think I played Midnight Suns maybe one more time since we talked. But I've also played Fall Guys. I've gone back, and that's all I've played, just like nonstop. And I won 4 crowns in the first 2 days of playing. I won 3 crowns in the first 7 matches back after about a year and a half. And I mean, it's gloating, but it's because I couldn't believe it. After like a year and a half of not playing this game, I think I won it on the second go. And the first round, I got to the finale, and I think I was like 3rd. And then I think I won it the next round, maybe the round after. But I think in the first like 7 or so rounds, I won 3 crowns. And my wife was telling me, she said, it gets stale like after you win so much. Like it's not, because I would like shake her and she's like on her phone and stuff. And I'd be like, I won. And she's like, it's not that important when you win like more than once. But I couldn't believe it. And I honestly, Fall Guys is so good. Like I love that game, and I loved it when it first came out. And it kind of died. And I feel like it is still dead. I don't know, like I haven't looked about like the numbers of where it's at currently popularity-wise. But like it's not consistent 60 people. Like it's maybe in like the 40s most times, and then sometimes you'll get that full 60. And that's always the most fun, in my opinion, because you're dealing with the most people you have to beat. But it does feel like the game has, stopped growing. I went to a hockey game a few weeks ago, and they interviewed a kid, and he said that his favorite game was Fall Guys. And maybe that kind of subconsciously stuck with me. It's like, I love that game. I made videos covering each season, each update. And then I was like, I need something to do. We talked about the whole Midnight Suns. It's a game you can kind of put down and leave for a while. So I was like, what do I have? And I was like, well, I haven't done Fall Guys in a long time. How is it? And then I win so quickly, it's like a drug, let's say, for YouTube purposes. We'll leave it that. And it's like I want to keep playing it. So that's what I've been doing. A lot of Fall Guys.
Fall Guys is such a fun game. I've actually, within the last, I'd say, month, I've probably played that on and off with a few friends. Like maybe we've had 3 or 4 sessions.
Nice.
There was one session where I totally did not win at all. And then there was one session where I think out of maybe 10 games we played, I won maybe 2.
Nice.
So
that's good.
It was.
And they got some new modes. Like they got some new finales. I did like the Kraken Squid one. I was like, what in God's name is this? And I hate the hexagon one, but it's the rotating. It's like a thing that you have to. I hate that. I die immediately because I get stuck, and then I'm trying to like walk up it, and I just fall in. And if that happens, I'm screwed. Thing. But I think I won 2 of the. Well, I won 4. I think at least 2 of them were the hexagon ones, which I hated those just because of how difficult. But all you gotta do is stay as high as you can for as long as you can, and you're good. For tips for people that want to play it. But yeah, no, I mean, but I'm getting bored. Like I can't tell you how many times I've said, just give me Persona 3. Like that's all I want. Yes. I just want to play. And it's not even a new game. That game is like 15 years old. I don't even know how old it is. But I'm in a kick. Like I really want to play Persona, and so that'll be the first. I'll probably alternate it with Fire Emblem. You'll be like, even next week as well. You'll probably be the Fire Emblem guy. I'll be the Persona guy, and we can go back and forth. So that should be fun.
Should be.
Yeah, but so speaking of, we got those, right? We're both excited, I think, for similar things. But then we got the big ones. We got Forspoken. Fire Emblem for the Switch, huge. Forspoken for the PlayStation. I mean, this will be big, kind of one way or the other. And then you got Dead Space. Forspoken's on the Tuesday, I think the 24th. And then Dead Space is the 27th. And then you even got SpongeBob the following Tuesday. So I guess out of those three, if you had to kind of rank them in terms of excitement, where would you put them? And then we can maybe start breaking down, one after the other.
I'd probably say Dead Space and SpongeBob are very close for me, as far as in terms of my personal excitement. I would probably go SpongeBob as the edging it out as the more excitement, just because it's like
it's new.
It's a different style that I just played. Yes, it's new. I just came off of Callisto Protocol not too long ago, and although Dead Space is going to be executed much better than that, it's still like the same kind of genre for the most part. So I felt like just because of that alone, I'm more excited for SpongeBob. Forspoken would easily be at the tail end of that.
Yeah, that's fair. Did you see? We'll get back to this, but just a quick tangent. Did you see the whole Callisto underperforming, underselling thing?
I did. That's heartbreaking.
That was rough.
Like, it underperformed badly.
Yeah, I think they wanted 5 million and it sold 2, which it's like, 2 is good, but when you put in context that's not even half of what you wanted, and you think about the money that you are assuming it's going to bring in, I don't like that. Scares me. They can't back out of this the DLC because I think that's built into the $100 edition, right? So like you can't do that, but after that DLC,
I'll be very mad.
Well, I almost feel like you get into legal. I don't know if it's. I mean, we talked about the whole Telltale Walking Dead thing. Like, I wonder what kind of legal ramifications there are if you promise there's going to be a season pass in a higher edition, but then the game does so badly that you just want to cancel it, but you have an obligation to. Now, do you shortcut that though? Is it, if you're going to make it 3 hours long, is it 1 hour long? Right? Do you kind of cheat? So that's when I'm actually very I'm not even worried about the future of the franchise. I'm worried about, do they take some shortcuts on the DLC because it's not worth it any. Which I get, but very scummy. That's very, and almost borderline illegal, I'd imagine.
Absolutely, and they gotta deliver what they promised.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't the result you were looking for, but if you commit to something, you got to see it through. But I definitely expect shortcuts coming. Before the game came out, it was even people raising the eyebrow at what was in the season pass to begin with.
Yes.
And how vague it was. So seeing this now, probably going back and looking at that, it's like a whole, it hits a little bit differently now.
Yeah. So, all right. So now, I mean, we I guess my ranking, I kind of agree with you. Like, SpongeBob really stands out just because, like, I liked Battle for Bikini Bottom so much, and it's also just new. Like, and I don't want to ever diminish. Actually, there are people that are much more harsh on Dead Space than me, but I don't want to diminish it because it's not, like, new, because it's a remake. But, I mean, factually, yet again, Cosmic Shake is very much a Battle for Bikini Bottom 2. Like, I would imagine it's so many reused assets, and that's, like, the whole game. But it's a new story, and it's new bosses and new levels and all that stuff. So, like, they're kind of tied almost for that reason, that they're both new only to an extent, but they're also going to in a way, Forspoken gets that edge where it's like, if you're looking for something the most original that you haven't played yet, it's actually Forspoken. Unless it's so much like Final Fantasy 15, but I can't imagine. Just because, I mean, like, the movement's similar, but that doesn't mean, the story is new, the character's new, everything's so new about Forspoken. So it actually would get the edge in originality. But then in terms of, excitement, I'd probably put Dead Space first, just because, maybe it's because it's closest by 4 days. It's earlier by 4 days. I think I'd do Dead Space, SpongeBob, Forspoken. But they're actually pretty close. Like, I will take Forspoken today if you if you want to Square Enix, if you want to give it. Like I just want to play something new, and if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. So in terms of Forspoken, what are we thinking? We talked about it a little bit in the last episode. You and I actually talked about it, off air. I think we're both worried about it, but I think we both have like somewhat, optimism that it doesn't have to be bad. So where are you on the game?
I believe their bread and butter is going to be gameplay. If they can execute gameplay, I can easily see anywhere in the 70s, like comfortably in the 70s.
Yeah.
It's just literally what's going to come down to that story. But if that gameplay isn't to everybody's liking, then you're probably looking at 60s, high 60s maybe. But I couldn't imagine it. The gameplay would have to blow you out of the water, and the story would have to be surprisingly good for you to get in the 80s for that game. So I'm going to say it's somewhere in, but probably mid 70s.
Yeah, it's there's a lot riding on the gameplay because it in terms of what we've seen, it's kind of like what the game has, and that I mean I feel like there is potential for this. I mean, every time you bring up the dialogue, you'll always have a person that says the dialogue's not bad, which is probably a good thing, and it's good for the game that there's people that'll defend it. I don't think it's atrocious. I don't think it's great. I don't even know if I don't even think I'd say it's cringy, because there was that one like 15-second clip on Twitter that one. Remember, she was talking or something. That was the really bad.
I got a Bengal that talks to me. And
was that it?
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, there was that one clip. It was super short, and the cringeness of it was pretty bad, which I get. Playing the demo wasn't that bad. I didn't notice any kind of cringe-like thing. It was more of just it's not all that interesting, these conversations. But like with an open world game and a game that is God knows how long, like we still don't know how big this game actually will be. Like it could just be some dialogue here and there. So I really, and I want to believe, I've said it before, like I want to believe in the story because of where it originated from, which was like Gary Whitta, who wrote Rogue One, Star Wars, which was a great movie in my opinion, and then Amy Hennig, who we've talked so much about. So like the foundation should be good. Now, when they passed the foundation off, did it completely, fall apart? But yeah, did it just collapse? And I don't know. Like, I really don't know. They've been very, like, reveal. Like, they don't really care. They're just showing so much stuff. But then everything they show, there's always, like, one part negative. Like, while you need a supercomputer to run this thing at full strength, and you'd imagine maybe it looks good at full strength, you have to think about it from the other side where it's like, if you don't have a supercomputer, the game's actually not going to be all that great on PC. So for every pro, there's a con of, if you don't have, I believe in the 4000, the 4080 or 4090, if you have the 30s or below, I think you can only run it at 30 frames per second. Whereas the fourth, that's when you can run it at 60. And it's the only way you can run it at 60. So that immediately,
optimization is very weird.
Yeah. It's pushed to the highest end. And then you have like, well, how good is it even going to look when it's at its best? Like the water still doesn't look incredible. The environment still doesn't look incredible. So do you need a 4090 for it? And then, by the way, that's PC. And not to diss PC because it probably is the master race. I'm not here to argue. A lot of people are going to get on PS5. So,
absolutely.
So what's the optimization? What's that though? If you need the best PC you can get to run this game, and if you don't have it, you're gonna have some trouble. The PS5 can't do that unless they really split teams and they really focused on making it work with which they did gloat about. So maybe they did. Again, like I don't want to like say these things as statements like they're for sure true. Yeah. Like factually, the PS5 is not as powerful as a 4090, but also they've gloated about the PS5, so maybe they really know how to make it work. I don't know.
That's kind of a red flag, not a red flag necessarily per se, but like it's kind of baffling because if it can't run 60 on any of the 30 series, and the 30 series are more powerful, all of them are more powerful than the PS5.
Yeah.
how did you get it to run at 60 on PlayStation, but you
Can it
can't
even
get it
run
to
it?
run at
Did they
60?
confirm that?
No, not yet, not yet. But I'm saying like if they, I guess I say if they do,
Oh, okay,
if
okay,
they can
yeah,
get it to run on 60,
yeah,
how would you not be like
yeah,
it doesn't make sense to me how it runs on 60 on PS5
right,
and not on the 30 series.
right,
So I would have questions, but that would be speaking to me more of like, okay, like there might be issues on PC because clearly, as they probably should, they put more work and optimization on PlayStation than they did PC.
yeah,
But that probably would indicate to me, at least, if they come out and say like, hey, 60 frames per second on PlayStation 5,
yeah,
I'm definitely getting it on PlayStation 5
yeah,
then, because I'm not trusting the optimization on PC at that point.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree, and that I mean, like the frames really would benefit the movement and the gameplay and the minute
Absolutely.
to minute, and that's the stuff that the game really needs to nail. Um, like I can take a world. That's even the thing with me. Like the world does seem empty. And now again, people point out, well, there were these icons on the map, and that's fine. The world, like as you're moving, just doesn't seem like it's got that much going on. At the same time, I'm not actually like I sound nitpicky, but I'm actually not that nitpicky when it comes to playing it. Like when I play it, I don't care about that stuff all that much. Because if you
Oh,
give me a good story and there's not a lot to do, but what there is fun, then I don't care that the water doesn't look so great, or that or that there's large areas of nothing. Maybe like there's an enemy or something there, and that's it. Like Sonic has that, but Sonic, you're moving, and it's fun, I guess, to some that you're moving really quickly and stuff. So like they have to nail that part. Moving has to be fun. When you do fight, that has to be fun, and then the story, like because this is not a game I think you're gonna get lost in the world like The Witcher. You get lost in The Witcher's world. You get distracted. You're
actually.
not. I mean, I think it's fair to say, guys, that you're not going to get distracted in Forspoken. So that's okay if they, if what they have is good. And that's kind of all there is to it.
Absolutely. I think that for spoken with the story that they're trying to tell, honestly, I could see myself with some of the things that they're doing, me being able to get into things like that. But
Yeah.
like, if they would have went a more, have you ever seen the movie The Warriors of Virtue?
No.
It's like a basically kind of it's something similar, but
Okay.
um obviously when the character goes into this different world,
Yeah.
he is accompanied by five martial artist kangaroos, right?
Oh my
It's gonna
God.
sound wild.
I love it.
um, I used to love this movie when I was a kid, and there's a lot of elements in Forspoken that I legitimately like. Okay, I would love some of these things, but I don't think that execution, at least from what we've seen so far, has been there, like to capitalize on the potential of everything you could do,
Yeah.
telling this story and things of that nature. But I would be okay with like even the world not being as alive, because there's probably a lot more mythical creatures roaming around here than there are people to talk to.
Right.
So that
Right.
might also be the reason why.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say there's a lot of things that they could probably, there's a lot of potential space there. I'm just not seeing any capitalization on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So it's again, like I know, like talking about it in the way that we do does signal I think we're more mixed than
Yeah.
positive. Like that is fair, but I don't think either of us are rooting for it to fail. I don't really think it's an issue with like
No.
our audience here. When I make the bigger videos that like tend to go out more, like you'll get people that are really defensive on it. And again, that's fine. I've always just stood I don't want this game to fail. I mean, like I constantly am talking about like new franchises. Like I'll take we don't need to constantly,
Right.
spin off what we so I'll take a Forspoken series, but it needs to be good. And it's also,
Yeah.
I mean, it's $70. It's going up 3 days later against Dead Space, a week later against SpongeBob. And yes, those may not be like the heavy hitters, but there's another one in Hogwarts 2 weeks after.
Yes.
And that really appeals to a lot of the same audience Forspoken would. They moved themselves into a really tough spot. They got away from God of War, but they got 2 weeks within Hogwarts. So that could very
It is
much
the
backfire.
Horizon Forbidden West of this year.
Yeah,
It
could
is
be.
probably the Horizon Forbidden West of this year.
Yeah, I mean, if it's like mediocre, it actually may stick around longer because maybe people be talking about it more, that it's not so great. But if it's good or bad, I don't think it'll be buried in terms of like the internet right away. I do think it'll take until Hogwarts. I don't think Dead Space will take away from it. And I don't think SpongeBob will take away. Too different. But Hogwarts will. So it's got 2 weeks. Even from me, I mean, me like personally playing it, if I don't get it early, which is not looking likely, if I get it the day of, I'll play it until Dead Space. Then I'll play Dead Space. Then I'll go back to Forspoken. Then I'll stop. Then I'll play SpongeBob. Then I'll go back. But, like, that's not a lot of time. And also, if I do get Hogwarts early, that would butt in to the other stuff. So, like, Forspoken will be the game I put down and pick up. And if it's not careful, not like I'm threatening it, but if it's not careful, like, I tend to let those games go. Like, once we get to Hogwarts, and then it's, Atomic Heart and Jedi Survivor. Like, if I'm not done with Forspoken in March, I think it's fair to say I won't beat it,
Yeah.
But I want it to hook me. If the story hooks me and it's interesting enough and it's different, or if it's just fun to play, like if it's fun to move around, at least it'll have that. And maybe it'll make me want to keep going. Are you getting all 3, or what's your strategy with this upcoming thing?
So SpongeBob is going to be the only one that I probably realistically get at launch.
Okay.
Dead Space I am definitely going to get, but probably after Hogwarts Legacy. I'm trying to map out the way I've been mapping out everything time wise. I'm like, what can I put time into? What can I reasonably?
And you'll be doing Fire Emblem, and I'll also be doing Persona. So that leads into Forspoken.
Exactly. And Hogwarts, I'm dropping everything for Hogwarts. I'm gonna take my time with it. I'm gonna interact with just as much as I can, find every Easter egg that I can, just enjoy the game and immerse myself into it. So everything really is coming down to what can I reasonably do within these next 2 weeks? Gotcha. And that's pretty much how I'm approaching it. Forspoken, I could easily see myself going out of my way to get it if I hear say you say good things, like it hooked you, or if I see people from channels that really love talking about Devil May Cry and hack and slashers. If it's grasping those that community, then I'll probably go out of my way and say okay, I'm doing this. So that's where I'm how I'm approaching it. Other than that, they're probably gonna hit the backlog.
Yeah, that's fair. There's literally only so much time. It all in one go, January into Atomic. I think there's a break after Atomic Heart. I don't remember 1,000%. Is there a game before? I'll have to check this later. Is Jedi Survivor the first one in March, or is there a game the week before? Resident Evil is after it by a week.
Yep.
But I don't know if Jedi Survivor is the first one for March.
I think it might be.
So it may go Atomic Heart, and then almost a month you got until Jedi Survivor, which is good.
That's probably when I'd reasonably have to knock those games out, depending on how quickly we can get through Hogwarts. So
yeah, these Hogwarts will probably take several weeks for several people, and that Hogwarts, I think, to a lot of people, will get them straight to Jedi. I think that's the plan, for a lot, and then you got Resident Evil and stuff. All right, so Dead Space. So you won't get a day one. How you feeling on Dead Space overall?
Honestly, I'm very excited for it. There's a lot of the quality of life things that they've added to the game. Just for example, the blanking out here. The main character talks now.
Isaac.
Yes, Isaac.
Yeah.
Isaac talks now. And just the world in general, just being able to revisit it and everything like that. I think that is because I've played it before. I haven't played it since it originally came out, but because I've played it and just getting to revisit that world years and years later, I think that that's very enticing for me.
Yeah.
But it's also why on the priority meter, it's probably a little bit lower because I'm I want to make sure I can handle what I can handle. But Dead Space is something that I very, very much am looking forward to the point where I was going to get the collector's edition for this game.
Oh my God.
I was thinking
has his
about
mask, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. I was very they announced it. I was okay, and I still can get it, but I'm I don't know if I can reasonably get everything done in time. Because normally when I get a collector's edition, I try to make it a point to finish that game because of
Yeah.
what I've invested.
Yeah.
So, I think definitely gonna get it, but it's got a lot to offer. Like I said, a lot of quality of life things that they brought forward, a lot of modernizing that they brought forward with this game. I think that honestly, it's gonna be a hit. It's gonna be a hit
Yeah.
with a lot of people.
And you know, a pro and con to the game. I guess to me, I look at it as a pro, but it also depends on how your financial situation is. Like, it's not long. Dead Space, I know the fact that it's a remake and the other two aren't, you know the most about it. So you're going to feel the most familiar, but also you kind of know how long it is too, which is important to some people. It's important to me, I guess, in this case, because it comes out the Friday. I know Dead Space is like 10 hours. So I know it's like 3 days for me. And that will get me to SpongeBob. So I shouldn't, as long as nothing is early for me, I shouldn't have an issue going from Dead Space straight to SpongeBob. Now, on the flip side of things, that could be a negative, that it's a remake, so you literally just say the same things out loud, but you just look at it negatively. Like, it is a remake, you already do know it, it's not that long, and it's also $70. So it's like, do you take a flyer on it, wait a couple months, get it for $50 or $40? Like, Callisto went on sale, by the way, pretty quickly as well.
See quickly.
You know, different companies, but still. So I feel like everything you can say that's a positive for Dead Space, you could, if you look at it in the other lens, you could say it's, which I get. I get it for the simple fact that to some, 10 hours is not worth $70. Now for me, it's quality over quantity, but some people it's not. Truly, it's you need quantity over. And it's also something you've already played, and it's sandwiched in between again, not just Forspoken, but Fire Emblem. You still maybe now. But it's one final, I guess, pro is it's a horror game. A horror game we've already played, but it's a horror game. Whole new genre. And we know from horror movies to horror games, like, it's got its group. They're not going to be, taken away by Persona, Fire Emblem, Forspoken, SpongeBob, or even Hogwarts. If you're getting Dead Space, I think you're getting it. No other game, unless there's another. Resident Evil will stop you, maybe. But it's too far away.
Yeah. So I think that Dead Space is in a good spot. And like I said, like me personally, I can't see myself waiting for if they come up with an immediate sale. Yeah. I don't even think a sale would necessarily persuade me more than just the time right now.
Yeah, yeah.
But I can't see myself, for example, waiting to play Dead Space until April. That's just way too long.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to knock that out. Hopefully at the edge of February, probably at the tail end of February.
Yeah.
Because not Gotham Knights, Jesus.
Oh my God.
Hogwarts Legacy, I'm going to probably be playing that daily. And because fun fact, my collector's edition was for the PS4 and that got pushed back. So it doesn't come till April. So I'm going to be getting Hogwarts Legacy on PC. So that's going to allow me to play when I'm home, but also most importantly on the go. So that's going to be, I'm going to be able to probably get through that a lot quicker than normal.
Yeah.
So I think that Hogwarts Legacy, once I get there, it'll be great. But Dead Space, I'm not waiting.
You'll have to let me know because you're the only one I talk to. Well, you're one of the only ones I talk to generally, but you're also one of the only ones that has a Steam Deck. So you'll have to. You'll be our guy when we get to Hogwarts. You'll have to let us know.
Absolutely.
How it runs on Steam Deck. Because I certainly won't be. I won't be doing it. All right. So then you got SpongeBob. So where are you overall on SpongeBob's quality and stuff?
Day one. That's the game I'm looking forward to change it and get me to Hogwarts. That's my game. Between that and Fire Emblem, Fire Emblem will probably be my on the go during break at work game, and then occasionally when I'm home. And then SpongeBob, when that comes out, I'll just be here playing that until Hogwarts Legacy. That's my goal. That's the strategy.
Yeah, no, I'm pumped. I mean, it looks fun. I've always liked the art style. Like when they did the Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated. I mean, the original looks similar. So the art style is awesome. Bringing everybody back again. Gonna feel familiar, and I wonder how familiar. But at the same time, I feel like I always kind of get myself a little on edge with that stuff, and it never really matters at the end of the day. So I mean, just to jump in and be able to experience a new story and new dialogue. I mean, like new lines, right? Not repeated stuff. I think it'll do really now. Being only a week before Hogwarts definitely is a potentially an issue, I guess, depending on how long it is. But and they're kind of open world. I say that because like there's multiple of them, but they're not that open. So like I feel, and they're also like generally not maybe for 20 something year olds. Like we may be able to get through it faster than the average, person. But I also have my daughter who asks me every couple days about it. So like I can maybe just hand it off to her and say, "Hey, do you want to be in a video? Do you want to review it for me?" So I don't know. Like that may be honestly, that's kind of how I assume SpongeBob is going to go. Is I'll start it by playing it or like we'll play it together. But like if we can't beat it by Hogwarts, most likely I will hand SpongeBob off to her, not like as a job, but like I don't know if I need to see the ending, which is kind of odd. Like can you judge the game? But like maybe just hand it off. I don't need to see the whole game through. I believe it has good quality throughout. She plays it whenever, and then we move into Hogwarts. As good as SpongeBob could be, it also will get dropped, as soon as Hogwarts comes out.
Absolutely. That's what I'm gonna make it my duty to finish that game. SpongeBob is, as you know, like I loved the older SpongeBob games and even the Nickelodeon ones that they came out with, Nicktoons Unite. Just those games in general, I have to see them through.
Yeah.
But it's not gonna last until Hogwarts. It's not gonna last.
Yeah.
I can guarantee it. Even Fire Emblem is something that, like I said, like we both, agree with tactical RPGs.
Yeah.
We come into it where we're, we'll play it, we'll put it down, we'll pick it back up, we'll play it, put it back down. I can see myself skimming a little bit of Fire Emblem time off for SpongeBob to make sure that's completed. Because I don't think I'm going to complete Fire Emblem by the time Hogwarts comes out. So
it seems big. I don't know if you saw any of the review. But again, at the time we're recording this, the game. That's another thing to remind people of. At the end of the video, by the time you guys are seeing this, we'll have already started playing Fire Emblem, Persona, stuff like that. But I wonder. Did you see in the reviews? Is there any talk of the length of Fire Emblem?
The length, not that I've heard of, like as far as a specific time, but they are all saying like that the game is very deep, very lengthy.
Yeah.
So they're using words like that, but they're not necessarily saying like, oh, it's this amount of hours or that amount of hours. But with there being a narrative, a linear path, I should say.
Yeah.
I can't see the game being as long as like 3 houses or prior entries. So. Yeah.
Oh man, I mean, it's exciting. We're not technically there yet at the time of recording, but it feels like we're there. Like I'm just ready. I mean, if you think about it, from the time we are recording is 1 week until Forspoken, 1.5 till Dead Space, 2 till SpongeBob, 3 till Hogwarts. So like it's all about, and I think it'd be 4.5 until Atomic Heart, because I think Atomic Heart's like the 21st. I think it's the Friday after Hogwarts, or Hogwarts is the 10th. Hogwarts is the 7th, but it's really the 10th. I think Atomic Heart is like the 21st, so it's not one. It's like a week and a half after that. So we are like right there.
After, I say, probably about towards the end of this week. Especially for me and you, like we're just gonna be going straight through game. Like, and then like you got reviews, threads, so it's gonna be back and forth, game, review, thread, video. It's gonna be crazy. So it's not gonna stop after this. I feel
it's honestly what I live for, and I honestly prefer this. Even the first, like I mean, we've had some stuff the last couple days of this week and last week have been like there's enough info. Hogwarts has decided we're gonna do a daily thing every single day. So there is stuff, but it also does seem like it's still quiet and like it's waiting for games to release. I guess it's waiting for the Xbox show, the developer direct, which that should be exciting. Like that. Those are the things that'll, and then maybe if Sony does something in February, Nintendo even, like then it'll start to really kick off. So super slow start, but you can feel it like starting to ever so slowly build. It all starts this week.
And Boy, it's going to be exciting, but time consuming.
Yeah.
I'm loving it. I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it.
Well, guys, let us know in the comments what you think of any of these games. We've both, to some extent, covered them, whether it be on Twitter or on YouTube videos as we play. I mean, that's a fun aspect of this show. We'll have topics, we'll have guests, we'll do all that kind of stuff. But as these games start to come out, we can start to dedicate a lot of the time, right, to just talking about what we feel. Not about Fall Guys and Jedi Fallen Order games that are years old, but new stuff. So thank you all again so much for supporting us, for watching. Let us know your games in the comments of what you're going to be playing. And then Sway, if you want to say anything, go ahead.
Thank you for supporting us. Thank you for watching each and every episode. For those that do, as always, keep looking forward to everything that we got coming, and we'll keep looking forward to the questions that you bring us for each and every show.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. I got a backlog of questions, and we'll get there, when we need to. We'll reach into the well. But we do appreciate if you ever have questions or topics you want us to talk about. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you all on the next one.